Hi, my name is Diane Taylor, and my topic presentation is on Benazir Bhutto. Benazir was born in 1953, 6 years after partition in Karachi, Pakistan. She was the daughter of Prime Minister Zulfikar Ali Bhutto. In her early years, she went to Catholic school in Pakistan, even though she was Muslim. And then in her later years, in the 70s, she went to the U.S. and went to Radcliffe College, graduated from Harvard, and then later studied at Oxford, UK. Little background. Benazir's father had been criticized as being not Islamic enough, so he hired on General Zia as chief of staff. That turned out to be a bad move because General Zia had a successful coup against Benazir's father, overthrew him, and had him imprisoned on false charges. It was at this time that Benazir visited her father weekly and learned at his knee about leadership and politics. A few years later, General Zia had him hanged. This led to Benazir going into politics. Under General Zia's rule, it was pretty terrible for Pakistan. He totally Islamicized Pakistan with imposing harsh Sharia law. Benazir and her mother were put under house arrest, where later Benazir was put in a class prison where she almost died. General Zia was also responsible for bringing the nuclear bomb to Pakistan, and Pakistan became the first Muslim country to be a nuclear power. It was at this time that the Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan, and then Pakistan became an interest to the West because of, one, their nuclear power, which General Zia tried to explain away as he just wanted electricity for his country. The West was leery of that. What led to Benazir's rise was General Zia headed to Washington in 1982 to explain himself about the nuclear power and also the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan and the strategic place that played. He was asked about Benazir, being that she was a political prisoner, and he felt obligated to have her released. Once she was released, she moved to England and was the leader of her father's party, the Pakistan People's Party, otherwise known as PPP. One of her brothers was murdered, and General Zia was under suspicion because he was involved in, the brother was involved in activities against the government. Then, 1986, Benazir called for open elections, and the people of Pakistan welcomed her. It was said because they felt guilty for not helping her father or preventing his murder. Then, in 1987, Benazir was in an arranged marriage to a businessman by the name of Asif al-Zardardi. And then, as luck would have it, General Zia died in a plane crash. So in 1988, Benazir Bhutto was sworn in as the first female Prime Minister of Pakistan. Her first words as entering out of the ceremony was, "I avenged my father today." A couple of her accomplishments. First day in office, she freed all political prisoners. She made the media free of censorship. Other accomplishments include building 40,000 primary and secondary schools. She installed women's police stations throughout Pakistan, which was unheard of because the Taliban were pretty strong. She spoke constantly of women's rights and of equality. But unfortunately, Benazir was removed from office in 1990. Benazir's administration didn't have real power. She didn't have authority. She didn't have a majority in the General Assembly, so basically her hands were tied. The military was suspicious of her, did not like taking orders from a woman. And then a vicious smear campaign against her husband ensued. Coalitions endorsed another candidate, Nawaz Sharif, and then Benazir was removed from power as corrupt and overly involved in nepotism. But Benazir rose from the ashes and won re-election a second time in 1993. This time she had a mandate for freedom and democracy. She represented a threat to the mullahs for quoting the Quran to debunk the Taliban and jihadists. She brought in cell phones, fiber optics, as well as the BBC and CNN to expand the media. But Benazir was a traditionalist, not a feminist, and she dismissed all myths about women. She was loved by both the West and the Pakistanis. But alas, Benazir was ousted from office a second time in 1996. Benazir's another brother, was assassinated, and this time she was blamed, being accused of not wanting her brother to be in power with her. She denied that, claimed she loved her brother. the vicious smear campaign against her husband continued, but this time he was jailed. President Musharraf at the time dismissed her government on charges of corruption and nepotism. All her land was confiscated, and this time she asked the court to exile her from Pakistan instead of heading back to jail, and it was granted. While her husband languished in jail in Pakistan, Benazir Bhutto and her children went to Dubai, where there she supported her children by giving political speeches. In 2007, Benazir President Musharraf had okayed for her to come back, and she came back one final time, and hundreds of thousands of people came out to see her because she was beloved. But alas, it wasn't to be. That day that she came back, she was assassinated by a terrorist bomb attack. And that is my presentation of Benazir Bhutto. Thank you.